What if I told you that some of the world's greatest artworks were never discovered? They were stolen. And what if I told you those masterpieces were created in Africa centuries before Europe claimed artistic superiority? This is not myth. This is the true story of the Benin Bronzes, and almost everything you were taught about them is wrong. Long before colonial borders carved Africa into pieces, there stood a powerful kingdom in what is now southern Nigeria, the Kingdom of Benin. This was not a primitive society. It was a highly organized empire with paved streets, diplomatic ties to Europe, advanced metallurgy, and royal guilds of master artists. At the heart of this civilization stood the Oba of Benin, a sacred king believed to rule by divine authority. And within his palace walls, history was not written on paper. It was cast in bronze. Contrary to popular belief, the Benin Bronzes were not accidental creations. They were produced by the Eigen Iranwin Guild, a hereditary group of master bronze casters who served the Oba exclusively. Using the lost wax casting technique, these artists created sculptures so precise that modern engineers still marvel at them. Every plaque told a story: royal ceremonies, military victories, court officials, spiritual beliefs, encounters with Europeans. These bronzes were not decorations. They were historical records, Benin's archive in metal. And here's the truth most museums avoided saying. These works date as far back as the 13th century, long before many European bronze traditions reached the same level of sophistication. In 1897, everything changed. The British Empire, hungry for control, resources, and power, set its sights on Benin. After a disputed encounter used as justification, Britain launched what they called a punitive expedition. But this was no punishment. It was an invasion. British forces burned Benin City to the ground. They exiled the Oba, and they looted the palace. Over 4,000 bronzes were ripped from shrines, walls, and sacred spaces. Not as trade, not as gifts, but as spoils of war. Imagine your history, your ancestors, your sacred memories, packed into crates and shipped overseas. Here's the part that shocks the world. The British didn't just keep the bronzes. They auctioned them off. Museums across Europe and America bought them. The British Museum, the Louvre, the Met, German royal collections. And then the lie began. They said, Africans couldn't have made these. They must have been influenced by Europe. Africa had no real history, but the bronzes themselves proved the opposite. They show Europeans arriving in Benin not teaching but trading. They show African kings already powerful, already advanced. The bronzes exposed a truth colonialism tried to bury. Let's destroy the myths, one by one. Myth 1. They are just decorative art. Truth. They are sacred historical records. Myth 2. They were legally acquired. Truth. They were taken during a violent military raid. Myth 3. Africa lacked advanced technology. Truth. Benin metallurgy rivaled and, in some cases, surpassed Europe. These bronzes weren't borrowed. They weren't found. They were taken. Today, the world is finally listening. Germany has returned hundreds of Benin bronzes. Universities and museums are under pressure. Nigeria has built the Edo Museum of West African Art to receive them. This is not about erasing history. It's about restoring it. Because when Africa tells its own story, the truth is impossible to ignore. The Benin bronzes are not just art. They are proof that Africa was never empty, never backward, never silent. If this story moved you, share it. Because stolen history only stays lost when the truth is quiet.